Area of parallelograms and trapeziums. Two shapes you may or may not have heard of. The first one we're going to look at is a parallelogram. The way I think of a parallelogram is that it's sort of a rectangle that's been knocked skew. The top's been skewed off, a bit like a deck of cards when you skew it a little bit. Now the way we work out the area of a parallelogram, it's a very simple formula. All we need to do, if we've got the base of the parallelogram and the height, is to multiply them together. So the area is base times height. And the reason it's that is because we can actually change a parallelogram into a rectangle by cutting off the triangle at the end and sticking it on the other side. So we actually get a rectangle that's got dimensions of base times height, so we just multiply them together as before. So for example, what is the area of this parallelogram? We've got a base of 6 meters and a height of 4 meters. So the area is 6 times 4, which is equal to 24. Now this time the measurements were in meters, so it's 24 meters squared. So that's for parallelograms. Now trapeziums is slightly trickier, it's one of the more complicated shapes, formulas for the area, and we don't have length names anymore. We haven't got bases or heights, we use letters. A and B are the two sides that are parallel, and H is really height, the length between them, the distance between them even. Now if you don't know what trapezium is, it's this sort of shape. It's where trapeze artists get their name from, because it's the sort of shape that a trapeze artist would make when they swing on their wires. Now the formula is half of A plus B times H. So what we would do is we would add A and B together, halve whatever we get from that, and then multiply that by the distance. And unfortunately I can't really show you with any diagrams why the formula is as it is. You just have to accept it, and this formula is actually given to you in the exam. You don't have to learn this. For the other shapes, the rectangle, the triangle and the parallelogram, those formulas you have to learn and remember. This one is on the inside cover. But how do we use it? So here we've got a trapezium with lengths 8mm, 15mm and 12mm, and we need to use that formula. Now I'm just going to write down that formula again because you'd be able to see it in the exam. Now the area is half of A plus B times H. I'm going to label up my parallelogram as well, what A, B and H are. This one was A, this one was B, and this one was H. So what we need to do now is put those numbers into our formula. So it's a half of A plus B, so that's 8 plus 12, and then we need to times it by 15. So the way we do this, first thing we do, we add A and B together. 8 plus 12 is 20, so it's a half of 20, and then we times it by 15. Well, half of 20 is 10, and 10 times 15 is going to give us 150. This time the units we used for all the lengths were millimeters, so the area for this shape will be in millimeters squared.